Exposed. 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 You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed, 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 exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm gonna expose you. Expose you. Oh my god, expose you.
Hi guys, welcome back to yet another mukbang drama. As most of you already know, last week Stephanie So posted a video exposing Nikocado. On the day of recording this, the video already has well over 7 million views. After Stephanie's video went live, a majority of people came to the conclusion that Stephanie was the victim in this entire situation, and Nick was quickly viewed as a monster. When Stephanie posted her video on Nick, he was actually just about to board a flight to return home from Los Angeles. He wasn't able to respond to her accusations right away, besides a quick Instagram story where he let everyone know he would be responding eventually.
This is 100% fabricated and a total hit job.
It took Nick about a week to actually post a response video. In the meantime, he was posting pre-recorded videos to his channel, and judging by the response from people in his comment section, he quickly became the James Charles of the mukbang community. During this time, Stephanie also released In and Out of Sleep merch and announced 100% of the proceeds from this merch launch would go to an anti-bullying organization called Stomp Out of Bullying.
I'm not trying to profit off of it or anything like that. 100% of the proceeds are going to Stomp Out Bullying, which is a non-profit, and they go against bullying, and so they have these projects, seminars, they raise awareness, and they do a really lot of good stuff.
On December 30th, Nick finally released his video detailing his side of the situation. He starts off the video by saying he never took pictures inside of Stephanie's house without her knowledge. Apparently, Stephanie was showing off her house to Nick, and he was simply admiring her furniture and taking a few pictures in front of Stephanie. Stephanie also let Nick give his boyfriend, Orlin, a house tour over FaceTime.
But she was sitting right there as I took a photo, watching me.
Although, in some of the pictures he showed as proof, only one picture showed Stephanie actually being there. Nick also shows screenshots of conversations between Stephanie, Zach, and himself, which shows Stephanie actually pushing the group to partake in a Shane Dawson-esque documentary with Veronica Wang, which would detail all the drama that happened between Veronica and the mukbang community. Although, it's important to note, the screenshots that Nick showed were from August 2019. It's very possible that Stephanie changed her mind on speaking about Veronica from then to when the collab actually took place in December. Keep in mind that Stephanie wanted to do the documentary with Veronica, not behind her back. She even explains to Nick and Zach she wanted to confront Veronica in this style of video because it would be less drama and more focused on personal struggle. Nick then goes on to show private messages between himself and another popular YouTuber, Zach Choi. The messages show Zach expressing his disinterest in a possible documentary. In one message, Nick says, "Stephanie is trying to get an apology for the things Veronica did to her off of camera." Zach replied saying, "No, I think she's trying to capitalize off of it." Nick also shows multiple texts where Zach expresses his dislike for Veronica Wang and his annoyance towards Stephanie. When the video was released, people were pretty shocked to see Zach, someone who never talks, partake in drama about his friend that he has a pretty public relationship with and frequently collabs with. After Nick's video went live, people actually started to side with Nick and felt like Stephanie might have exaggerated the events that took place. Some people felt like it was the James and Tati situation all over again, but this time it was Nick that pulled the Uno reverse card and ended Stephanie. She quickly became seen as some kind of master manipulator, although others saw things a bit differently. One Twitter user said, "I don't think Stephanie's a manipulator. I think she's just very emotional and unstable, and Nick's type of behavior might have triggered something in her, leading her to slightly make things a little dramatic. Not that she's in the wrong, but she may be very sensitive with certain things, and Nick's behavior is very straightforward and dramatic." After Nick's video was up long enough for people to start forming opinions, Stephanie quickly jumped on her Instagram to post a statement. She wrote, "He continued to bluntly lie in his video. Don't speak for me, Nick. And yes, I have actual receipts, not just texts between gossiping friends." The next day, Zach took to Instagram to try and explain his side of things, since all of his personal text messages were put on blast and people were starting to see him a bit differently. Zach wrote, "I was taken aback when I was invited to be a part of the docu-series. At that point in time, my friendship with Stephanie had not matured, and her request did hurt me a little, because at the time, I thought she wanted to use us for business reasons. At the end of the day, my words were hurtful and do not represent how I feel today. I have apologized and supported Stephanie privately, but because my words were taken without my permission to publicly hurt and humiliate someone, I felt that I had to make a statement. A lot of people have been reaching out to see if I gave Nick permission to use screenshots of a private conversation in his video. Absolutely not. Nick never liked Stephanie from the beginning. This was obvious and stated in his response. As soon as the camera cut on our 3-week collab, I immediately asked Nick why he was trying to expose Stephanie and that the T channels would be uploading titles like Nikocado making Stephanie so uncomfortable for 5 minutes straight. He didn't seem to fully understand why I was taking this position on the video until he watched the footage himself. The next day, I would have been shocked had the collab still happened based on how uncomfortable Nick made Stephanie the night before. By the time Nick asked Stephanie for a reschedule in the group chat, he had already texted me privately that he was going to expose her. This leads me to believe even further that his main priority was to simply expose her all along. Zach then goes on to release text messages between himself and Nick. These messages show Nick telling Zach that he'd be exposing Stephanie later that night, and Zach saying over and over again to please keep him out of it. In one message, Nick says, "I get you don't want to be in the middle, but she's putting you there. Plus, you're texting her too, so..." Zach replies saying, "I'm not texting her, I'm staying out of it. You guys can settle this on your own." Obviously, this situation has not been settled on their own, and now a whole bunch of people have been dragged into this mess.